Dobra, kontynuujmy. Ciekawe, czy uda się dzisiaj chociaż trochę upchnąć fabułę, czy znowu będzie tak, że zrobił jeden dosłownie dialog. Kim chce pogadać? Co tam kim? Dzień dobry.
Looks like we can get to work at once. The union muscle turned up. They look rowdy. We should talk to them.
Czemu musimy z nimi rozmawiać?
Everything points to the dock workers union. The belt used for hanging him. The circumstances in Martinez. My preliminary information. Which may, of course, all be wrong. But we still need to talk to them. And it won't be easy.
Dobra, jak to w bojowym nastroju?
I mean ungovernable. Martinez isn't exactly enthusiastic about the RCM being here. They prefer to be policed by the union. These men who drink beer for breakfast, there's talk of an armed wing of the union called the Hardy Boys, who are responsible for state policing. I think it's them.
Są ci ludzie, o których powiedział nam wczoraj Gard.
I completely forgot. Sorry, I had a rough night's sleep. It's them by the looks of it. Loud and nasty, just like the manager said. One loose thread less to worry about, and one big problem to replace it.
Strasznie ich dużo, może powinniśmy wezwać posiłki.
That would just escalate tensions. No captain would sign off on it. Solving one murder isn't worth a conflict between the RCM and the Debarders Union. In fact, even the death of 2 detectives might not warrant an all-out war. So let's keep a cool head, okay?
Okay.
He's not exaggerating about that mortal danger, just calmly factoring it in. Your fists clench and your pulse rises uncomfortably.
No to już.
One more thing before we do. We don't have to talk to them immediately. We can walk right past them, continue with our business.
Good. A power move. Purposefully concentrate on something else first.
They're in no hurry to leave. They think they own the place. Anyway, I leave that choice to you. Whatever you decide is fine by me.
Dobra, skoro mam taką możliwość, wydaje mi się, że na razie nie będę z nimi gadał, co oni. Dzień dobry.
Just a moment. And there's no public phones nearby?
The closest phone booth is down the coast. Sorry for the inconvenience, ma'am.
It's fine, I understand. Thank you anyway. I'm glad to see you again, dear.
The lady is distressed. Perhaps something more upbeat might cheer her up.
Siemanko Lenka, jak tam, co tam?
Please don't trouble yourself about me, sweetie. I was just hoping to make a call, but the Whirling's phone line isn't working.
A faint smile tells you she appreciates the effort, but at the moment her mind is on more serious matters.
The union office probably has a phone, but I can't really get there. Or to the phone booth down the coast. And Gary's phone is dead too.
Zaraz, co jest nie tak z linią telefoniczną?
The manager was vague about it.
Czemu w ogóle musi pani skorzystać z telefonu?
To let the young woman who's house sitting for us know that we may be delayed. Morel, my husband, and our friend Gary were supposed to get back by Monday night, but they're still missing, and I haven't heard from them. I was also hoping she'd heard from Morel.
You hear that? Someone's missing. There could be foul play afoot.
Uwielbiam szukać zaginionych.
That's right. Now skip the foreplay. Time to dive into the dark alleys. Start shaking down the usual suspects. You know, legwork. Doing some good will alleviate the hangover. At least you're of use to someone.
No dobrze, połknął ten haczyk. Czy pani mąż kiedykolwiek wcześniej zaginął?
That's just it. This isn't like him at all. He always plans his expeditions so carefully.
A cold breeze hisses through dense thickets of reeds. Something sweet in it, somnolent. A damp chill goes down your spine. When you look around, you're still in the whirling in rags.
You have more important things to worry about.
Więc pani mąż jest kimś w rodzaju naukowca.
Oh, yes. A zoologist. A cryptozoologist, to be more precise.
Czym jest kryptozoologia?
It's a pseudoscience that attempts to legitimize research into
Siema,
mythological
Kacpro.
beasts and urban legends.
Co tam, jak tam? Jak tam dzień mija? Jesteś w szkole, czy już wolna?
That's one opinion, yes. And people are entitled to their opinions.
My apologies, ma'am. I did not mean to undermine your hobby.
It's not a hobby, dear. It's a subfield of zoology, one specializing in animal species that are so exceedingly rare that many assume them to be extinct or even fictitious.
Zdrowie się popsuło? A co ci jest, Kacpro? Wszystko okej? Przeżyjesz?
Searching for such species called cryptids is difficult and often thankless, and frankly, many scientists are too lazy to do it. Universities these days are rarely interested in supporting real research.
She's completely internalized her husband's struggles. They are her own.
Przeziębiłeś się. O, słabo. To pewnie to chodzenie po lasach tak ci załatwiło. Dobra, spróbujmy ją przekonać. Może dasz radę ją przekonać, by opowiedziała ci o jakichś czadowych kryptydach.
You're an
Ja
enthusiastic
pierniczę,
idiot,
porażka.
but you're still an idiot.
Chcę wiedzieć wszystko o kryptydach żywych, wymarłych, morskich, lądowych. Proszę zaczynać.
We don't have time for Cryptozoology 101. Let's get back to work, shall we?
Na jakiej ekspedycji był pani mąż?
Just some field work, sweetie. Morel is a highly trained scientist.
Ja widziałam zdjęcie z
He
lasu.
and his assistant Gary are studying an extremely rare species of insect. But they should have returned by now. They were just going down the coast across the waterlock to set a few traps. He said they'd be back on Monday. What could be keeping them?
The waterlock, that was broken. Could this be it?
A kim jest ten cały Gary? Ufa mu pani?
Oh, sweetie, it's nothing like that. Gary's as loyal as they come. I trust him with my husband's life any day.
W idącym drugą stroną wybrzeża śluza uległa uszkodzeniu. Pewnie tam po prostu utknęli.
Oh my. What happened to the waterlock?
Nie zgadnie pani, jest zablokowana przez wielką reklamę masła. Wpadła prosto do wody.
Oh, sweetie. If it weren't for you, I'd be looking forward to another sleepless night. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
You're welcome, ma'am.
I hate to ask, but if your investigation takes you to the other side of the coast, please do keep an eye out for my husband.
This will surely lead to a cryptozoological mystery with that extremely rare insect.
And if you see him, let him know Lena is waiting for him here at the Whirling. He gets so tangled up in his work that he may not know the waterlock's been repaired. And it's cold out there.
Mówisz, korzystasz z pogody, a teraz korzystasz z choroby i grasz w CS-a. Jeśli go spotkam, dam mu znać, że jest pani tutaj. O ile kiedykolwiek tam trafił,
Oh, you're such a dear. Thank you, sweetie.
proszę powiedzieć mi więcej o Morelu, jak wygląda, jaki ma charakter, o waszej relacji.
Oh, dear. I'm not sure where to begin.
Jak wygląda pani mąż?
Well, his expression is slightly grumpy, but his eyes are always bright and curious, like a small boy's. And his palms are quite coarse from all the field work, but he's quite gentle.
To zdarza się, ale mniej. A co, znudził się, czy po prostu przegrywasz?
It's always a challenge to describe the person you know best in the world.
Spróbujmy inaczej. Gdybym chciał zauważyć go na ulicy, to jakich cech powinienem szukać?
Oh, well, he's a bit shorter than you, but with a larger frame, and he has longish white hair, usually a bit uncombed. You might say wild, even.
The lieutenant pulls out his notebook and begins jotting down the woman's description.
another thing. He'll likely have all kinds of field gear on him, even if he's not out in the reeds, you know, just in case.
A ziomek ci wypadł, no zdarza się. Ja w sumie dlatego przestałem grać w LoL'a, że nie miałem z kim. I już bym nie wrócił. Od jak dawna jesteście małżeństwem?
We'll be celebrating our 16th anniversary this autumn. Not the most numerically satisfying anniversary, but I like the less obvious milestones even more somehow.
Jak się państwo poznaliście?
Via dating agency, I'm ashamed to say. I was looking to get back into the scene after recovering from my accident, and he'd just divorced. We hit it off, and, well, here we are.
Oh, how cute.
She's skipping over some important parts. Perhaps you'll find out more later.
Mam chyba wszystkie potrzebne mi informacje, zmieńmy temat.
I hope I've been useful.
Proszę opowiedzieć mi mniej więcej o tym rzadkim insekcie, którego szuka pani mąż.
Oh, sweetie, it's fascinating. But I shouldn't bore you with entomological minutiae.
The lieutenant gives you a sideways glance.
Nie, chcę posłuchać o tym insekcie.
Well, it's a phasmid, technically, but
Oh, yeah. Here comes the interesting.
where other phasmids imitate sticks or leaves, this one's a living reed. It disguises itself among the reeds here on the Insulindian coast. Hence its name, the Insulindian phasmid. Perhaps you'll end up co-discovering the phasmid with us, officers.
There's a touch of awe in the way she enunciated the creature's name.
I knew it. We're gonna be chasing made-up insects with cryptozoologists.
It's not made up, officer. I can assure you.
There's a hint of defensiveness to her retort, but also confidence. She seems to sit up a little straighter in her chair.
It's simply elusive, so much so that most establishment zoologists doubt it exists at all.
Nie wiem, czy Dead Island ma tak porywającą fabułę, żeby przechodzić to 4 razy. Kacpro, każdy miał taką nauczycielkę na którymś etapie życia. Każdy. W różnych szkołach, ale zawsze taka jest. Skąd pomysł, że straszyk jest gdzieś w okolicy?
Well, some teenagers making out in the reeds saw one. They didn't know what it was, of course, but there was a brief article in a local newspaper about their encounter with a ghost insect that looks like the reeds. Gary sent us the clipping.
Interesting. Maybe the phasmid made the teenagers make out.
Może to straszyk skłonił ich do tych figli.
I doubt it. It's not like teenagers need much encouragement in that regard.
To prawda. No, czyli mówisz, Kacpro, taka bezmyślna siekanina, po prostu, żeby biegać. Można i tak. Nie wiem, ostatnimi czasy nie mam jakoś chęci przywiązać się do jednej gry. Jednak wolę variety, żeby zmienić co jakiś czas, ogrywać nowe. Chociaż grałbym jeszcze raz Baldurę. No i kusi mnie to. Obejrzałem ostatnio sesję RPG u karczmarza, co prawda z Lotra, ale jakoś tak naszło mi znowu na RPG. Aj, nie trzeba mnie mocno przekonywać. W sumie Disco Elysium jest RPG-iem. Czyli jedynym dowodem, jaki macie, jest wycinek z gazety.
Of course, most phasmid sightings turn out to be false alarms, but their description matched the Insulindian phasmid perfectly, and they didn't even know what they were looking at.
Siema, Zamojku. Dobra, czy jest niebezpieczny?
Not at all. Why else would it hide itself so carefully?
Jest cenny?
Oh, I doubt it. No one gets into cryptozoology for the money, sweetie.
Czy ma jakieś czadowe moce?
Yes, It can blend in almost perfectly among the reeds. It's how it stayed hidden all these years, centuries even.
No dobrze, co w takim razie jest wyjątkowego w tym patykorobalu?
Oh dear, I'm afraid I'm not explaining this very well. It is very special. Morel can explain it all much better. I wish you could hear him describe it. Then you'd understand, I'm sure.
Dobra, możemy powtórzyć ten test. 83. Przy 72 sfailowaliśmy, ale 83 wejdzie.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Pani Leno, chętnie posłucham o różnych kryptydach, które badaliście. Opowie mi pani o nich?
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Kryptydowy spektakl? Podoba mi się ten pomysł.
And I don't. Just one.
Or he'll be disappointed in you. Ooh, tough choice there.
Trudny wybór. Jaka kryptyda jest najbardziej niebezpieczna?
The Gnome of Jeroma.
Gnom z Geromy. Brzmi przerażająco.
Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
Jak wyglądała ta kryptyda?
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead, an ungainly little thing. Quite scary to look at. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the Gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Czyli mogę jednak zapytać o pozostałe kryptydy. No Kacpro, na chwilę obecną to ja nawet nie mam Dead Island. Jaka jest największa kryptyda?
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
Dobra, Kim. Tak, dobrze. Możemy na razie zająć się czymś innym. Niehonorowe jest lekceważyć obietnicę.
I'm glad you see it that way. Did we have anything more to do here?
Na tę chwilę to wszystko, proszę pani. Tak w ogóle... To mam bardzo dużo do zrobienia. Bardzo dużo. Bardzo chętnie pójdę dalej porozmawiać z tą kobietą, która została przysłana, żeby rozgonić strajk. Muszę jakoś ściągnąć trupa. To też jest ważne. I zebrać hajs na buteleczki. Nie z kimem? W dupie to mam. Dobry komentarz. Dziękować. Wam muszę znaleźć kulę. Powietrze wypełnione jest pełnym wigoru świergotaniem jaskółek. Dobra, chodźmy tam w górę, obok Kuno. Tego małego, jebanego gnojka. Ciebie tu wcześniej nie było. Witam, bez zbędnych konwenansów, witasz i już.
Hello?
Kim pani jest?
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much.
Co pani robi?
looking for something to read.
Świetnie, świetnie. Skin głową.
It is.
Jestem policjantem. Zajebiście.
I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
Potrzebuje pani pomocy policjanta?
What with?
This citizen thinks she can do without your assistance. Don't buy it. They all need help.
Patrzy, jak przegląda książki.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
Pali pani?
No, I don't.
Dobrze, rozumiem, dziękuję.
Mm-hmm.
Może zaginął pani mąż?
My husband? No, he's not.
Gdzie zatem może być?
I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
Dobrze, rozumiem, dziękuję.
She gives you a short nod and shifts her attention back to books.
Może zginęła pani kakadu?
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get like this. It's better to indulge him at this point.
Proszę pani, zapytałem o pani kakadu. Zaginęła?
I don't even have a cockatoo. And guess what?
Co?
Even if I had, it wouldn't be missing.
Dobrze, czyli kakadu nie zaginęła. Chciałem się tylko upewnić.
Great.
Zajebisty dialog, naprawdę zajebisty. Jeszcze tylko jedno pytanie. Co pani miała na myśli, mówiąc, że zachowują się jak kakadu?
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Właściwie to chyba dokładnie tak zrobił. Dziękuję za podpowiedź.
Wonderful. The store is open.
To na razie wszystko. Pozwolę pani dalej czytać.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
Spoko. Moje duchowe zwierzę to kakadu. A czy ten śmietnik był sprawdzony? Był sprawdzony. Muszę trochę muzykę przyciszyć też. Jedno oczko. Ona jest strasznie nierówna. Wiem, że to podnoszenie głośności muzyki i to balansowanie tym jest po to, żeby zbudować klimat, ale momentami też wali po uszach. Dobra, szukamy buteleczek. Szukamy pieniędzy. Szukamy szczęścia. Czy mogło tu wejść?
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. It's locked.
Zapukaj.
The door rattles against your knuckles, but there's no response.
Zapukaj ponownie.
The door rattles again, but this time you hear an elderly woman's voice calling out from inside.
Stop banging on the door! I'm not letting any more strangers inside.
Policja, proszę otworzyć drzwi.
The police? Everyone knows the police don't come round here.
Proszę, niech mnie pani wpuści. Jest tu zimno.
No, I already told you. I won't be responsible for any more strangers getting into the building. Go check the backyard door. Maybe someone there will.
Kim, powiedz jej, że jesteśmy prawdziwymi policjantami.
Madame, I assure you, we are real police officers.
There is no reply, just faint sweeping sounds inside.
Dobra, odejdźmy na razie.
Hey, up here, piggo.
Czy ja mogę wejść na górę? Nie mogę. Musiałbym dostać się do środka. Chodźmy jeszcze tutaj. Czy na drugi dzień
Just
mogę
an
ponownie...
ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Nie mogę skonceptualizować tego muralu. Tutaj nic więcej nie ma. Szczerze mówiąc, ten trup po tylu dniach sam by spadł. Ale okej. To jest zamknięte. Wydaje mi się, że nie mam za bardzo możliwości, żeby pchnąć to do przodu. Muszę zdjąć trupa. Tylko tak, żeby zdjąć trupa, muszę albo, jak to powiedzieć, skonceptualizować i uporządkować w głowie ideologię rasizmu, albo nakopać rasiście.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you
Wolę
forget
tą
the
drugą
lieutenant's
opcję.
surname.
Przyjrzyj się najpierw uważniej.
The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just chips in the sandstone.
Kim? Patrz. Ślady po kulach.
Where?
Wskaż na odpryski w murze. Ktoś został postrzelony. Jesteśmy gliniarzami. Powinniśmy to sprawdzić.
There? Those are old.
Och, myślisz, że to z czasu rewolucji?
Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law.
No dobrze. A co możesz mi o tej rewolucji powiedzieć?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
Chodźmy. Dobra, więc to niestety nie ruszy. Jeszcze tak, mogę pogadać z kierowcami ciężarówek. Ale mam wolone okulary. Znaleźć tego, który szmugluje dragi.
Working class drunk. You know what this means, right?
Sprawa rozwiązana.
Cracked it. All in a good day's work.
Zaraz, ale co właściwie rozgryzłem?
What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is.
To tej kobiety od książek, tak? To przyszły przywódca proletariackiego powstania.
No, it's not.
To jej mąż, ten zaginiony.
Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit.
Dawaj szampana, wchodzę w to.
There's no need for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go and tell the working class woman what you found, right now.
Czy to naprawdę... Na razie odejdźmy. Coś mi się... Według tej książki musisz koniecznie wypracować na najbliższej siłowni. Ta gra jest bardzo niebezpieczna. Służy ci chronić, proszę pani. Znalazłem pani męża.
God damn it, I already told you. My husband isn't missing.
No tak. No, tak czy inaczej go znalazłem. Taki jestem w tym dobry.
Very well then. Where is he?
Tam, wskaż na pijennego robotnika nieopodal morza.
Excuse me? I don't follow.
There's something else hiding in her voice, though. A trace of worry.
Znalazłem pijaka z klasy robotniczej i pomyślałem, że może to pani mąż.
Right, 'cause working class women come with alcoholic husbands. You know what?
Co?
You were right. I do have an alcoholic husband. Although not that one.
Ale mówiła pani, że z pani mężem wszystko jest dobrze.
I did, and he is. He's also an alcoholic.
Czyli on też zaginął?
No, he's not. Or maybe he is, I don't know. He's probably in the park or in Shamrock somewhere, drinking with his friends. I haven't seen him for... Well, to hell with him.
There. She's
Czyli
worried
jednak
now.
zaginął. Kim? Wydaje mi się, czy mamy tu do czynienia z zaginięciem.
I wouldn't be so sure. Man, Just to be completely clear, do you want to report it to the police?
Report what? He's just out drinking with his friends. I'm sure the police has better things to do than to chase down local goofballs.
Szczerze to uważam po prostu zaginięcie za tajemnicze sprawy.
They are not all they're cracked up to be, officer. Because people either show up on their own or you never find them.
Ale czy to nie jest tajemnicze?
I'd say there's nothing mysterious about incompleteness. It's in fact rather unpleasant.
You're wrong there. Incompleteness is the essence of mystery.
Dobrze, ale i tak chcę się tym zająć. Domagam się sprawy związanej z zaginięciem.
All right then. He has questions now.
What kind of questions?
Jak wygląda pani mąż?
Honestly, not that different from you.
Zatem niech zgadnę, jest disco?
Oh, thank God, no. It hasn't come down to this yet.
To czemu powiedziała pani, że mąż jest podobny do mnie?
Well, he's slightly chubby.
Aha,
Wait, did she just imply that you're fat? You're not fat. The body type she's referring to is called a Franco-Nigerian hard body.
nie jestem pulchny i pani mąż też nie. Chciała pani powiedzieć, że mamy obaj wspaniałe ciała.
You both share what?
Miękkie i krągłe, mimo to w formie. Panie takie lubią.
I'm not sure about the rest, but softly round sounds about right. He's not in great shape.
A, czyli dowiedziałem się w końcu, jaką mam sylwetkę.
What else? He was wearing a dark brown leather jacket with a bright blue inner lining. The lining is hand sewn. I made it myself. It's his cool jacket. God knows it's too cold to run around in this, but he refuses to change. I even tried throwing it away once, but he just dug it out of the bin. Can you believe it?
No, jeśli ta kurtka jest rzeczywiście aż tak fejowa, to całkowicie go rozumiem.
Well, what can you do? I hope that at least that extra lining helps him keep warm at night. I wouldn't like him to catch cold.
She's thinking about him out in the cold, in some park, or on the coast. And it's making her more and more worried.
Kiedy widziała go pani po raz ostatni?
Yesterday morning, he went to the library. He went to retrieve my book and he promised he'd walk straight back home. Because we talked about this. We talked about not wandering off again. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do with his addiction. Just makes me feel weak.
She turns away from you in an attempt to recover.
Chyba już wszystko wiem, dziękuję.
So you are going to look for him?
She genuinely wants you to now. Don't make her ask.
Tak, sprowadzę go pani do domu.
Thank you. Please do. Even though I'm sure he will return home by himself. I'm still sure of that.
She tries to maintain a brave front, even though her eyes reveal the opposite.
I'm sure he will too. When he does, would you let Precinct 57, Kim Kitsuragi, know?
I will. Of course, officer. As I said, it's probably nothing.
Dziękuję, w takim razie już pójdę. Po co mi łomka Pro? Bardzo proste. Ogólnie tak. To jest reklamówka na puste butelki, a to jest łom do otwierania śmietników, w których są butelki. Także wiesz. Co jeszcze mogę? Mogę kopnąć skrzynką na
The
listę.
dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Pierdol się, skrzynko pocztowa. Złamałem stopę.
There is a hollow ring as you kick the box. It sounds like it's mostly empty. Your toe hurts now. Your toe has suffered damage. It hurts.
Cool. You really showed that mail collection box.
Tak myślisz? że to było super.
I don't. Let's go.
He must see the box as the weaker of the two, and you as a bully. Something he doesn't stand for.
Odejdź. Odejdźmy stąd, bo wstyd. Tak. Ogólnie to jedno mnie zastanawia. Teraz mam mapę. Jestem na wybrzeżu. Nie mogę pójść dalej, bo... Dlaczego to jest wielkie jajo? Bo most jest zablokowany, śluza jest zablokowana. Ale mogłem też kupić mapę. Się nie zawsze wyświetla mapa. Mapy były tu. Ile kosztowała?
Several maps have been attached.
Tak,
The
tak.
maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda,
Dobra,
a map of
90 groszy.
Revachol, and a map of Martinez.
Chcę kupić tą mapę Martinez.
Always good to be informed of your surroundings.
Dobra, odejdź. Czy mi to coś zmienia? Interakcja.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Year 48 resides on the upper right corner.
Stwórz palcem ścieżką po siatce.
Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the
Przemyśl,
map
Kacpro,
tab.
i zdrowie życzę. Wracaj tam do siebie. Dobra, odłóżmy mapę. Nie mogę wyposażyć mapy. Czy mogę? Nie, po prostu powinienem ją mieć tutaj. Czyli mam to samo co wcześniej. Nie rozumiem, dlaczego czasami ta mapa była, czasami nie. Ale 90 groszy to jeszcze nie tragedia. Dobra, chodźmy pogadać z kierowcami. Podejrzewam, że to da mi lida co do narkotyków. Yo.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
Tak, zdecydowanie wyglądasz mi na kogoś, kto zna się na narkotykach.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. Had some good times surfing the psychic waves of my own consciousness, you know? But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man?
Just be straight with him.
A spróbujmy. Powiem ci wprost. Próbuję dojść, kto przemyca narkotyki z terminala B.
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor to load it on their lorry and drive it to Jamrock.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's got folks up in arms, and I'm afraid it's headed toward a conflagration.
Kto twoim zdaniem może w takim razie handlować narkotykami?
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really need to find another man to probe with those questions.
To na razie wszystko, pa. Dobra, podejrzewam rasistę. Witam w Revacholu.
Looking for something?
Jesteś kierowcą ciężarówki, prawda? Co sądzisz o zażywaniu narkotyków?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
Czemu?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage, racial economic sabotage.
Słuchaj, zgadzam się. Mamy odpowiedzialność trzymać tę truciznę z dala od warszawskich ulic, tak?
He eyes you warily, unsure how to respond. This goes on for about 2 seconds.
I don't know shit, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Więc po co ciągle tutaj sterczysz? Większość pozostałych kamionerów już się stąd zebrała.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Po drodze widziałem jedną ciężarówkę z otwartą przyczepą. Wiesz, co się stało?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his luck and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
No to ma pecha.
It's a fucking travesty is what it is.
Skoro nie ty, to kto przemyca narkotyki przez terminal B?
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
Kto to?
He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Really, he's just selling his employer stuff. Stuff he stole after he broke the seals on his Humanox lorry.
Gdzie go znajdę?
Just follow the smell. It smells like apricot and oil when you're nearby.
Morele i smar.
Yes, yes. Where is he?
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. Sealang's usually a little bit south of here, near the canal. You can't miss him. Just watch yourselves. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%.
Krzysiu, czy naprawdę wierzysz, że uda mi się ściągnąć trupa, zanim wrócisz? Z moim tempem?
I wouldn't be so sure about it. Not until we've heard what
No
Sealang
właśnie.
himself has to say.
No to chyba musimy złożyć Sealangowi wizytę.
Guess so.
No to mi się nie udało i szczerze mówiąc, póki co wszystko mi się nie udaje, więc... Zobaczymy. Może jakimś cudownym trafem jeszcze raz pobiję rasistę. Dobra, na razie skończyliśmy. Ale przyjrzyjmy się ciężarówkom.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam.
Zajrzyjmy przez
The
okno.
windows are clear. They've been recent.
To nie. To wszystko już było. Żadnych nowych opcji dialogowych. Nic nowego. Dziwna pani.
The woman still has her eyes fixed on the photograph in her hands. In the background, the radio plays.
Babciu.
Nothing. Her smile, no. This one is a monster in disguise.
Stryknij palcami przed twarzą.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Stryknij palcami 2 razy.
Where am I? Who are you?
The smile on her face has disappeared, replaced by the weary aspect of a cornered beast.
Właściwie to miałem nadzieję, że ty mi to powiesz.
Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam. in the 50s.
Czekaj, a co jest takiego złego w 50.
The men have the small jewels and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out of amber?
Gdzie indziej mogłabyś być?
Back in Mecca, during the time of the revolution, the side walls and cafes are filled with the young people. I was on my way to see a new Boyadeiro picture starring Gabriel Buenguerro. Until you came along, that is.
Kto to jest Gabriel Buenguerro?
This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
Przyjrzyj się.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide brim hat. His hair is dark as an oil slick, and his jaw the most perfectly chiseled thing you've ever seen. This man's got a hold over her, even 50 years later.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen. And schoolboys used to memorize all his lines.
Czyli rozumiem, że za młodo byłaś w Mesce?
Someone was.
Ktoś? Czyli to nie są twoje wspomnienia?
They are someone's memories, boy. What difference does it make if it's me or not? They're beautiful. That is all that matters. Beautiful and true. And they will win. They're coming for this, you know? All of this.
She seems to derive some bitter pleasure from this strange thought, as if the past will one day wipe the present away, like a tidal wave approaching.
Przepraszam, że przerwałem marzenia.
I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early spring, and the man behind the black sun had just come out. The posters were 20 meters tall. Everything was golden. While you, people, were tearing each other apart over your petty little revolution, in Meth, it was a golden age.
Dobrze, mam jeszcze kilka innych pytań, policyjnych.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole.
Co przewozisz?
Diamonds.
Diamenty, naprawdę?
Of course not. But wouldn't it be marvelous if I was?
No dobrze, ale co naprawdę przewozisz?
Whatever stupid things they put in the lorry, I imagine.
Czyli nie wiesz, co przewozisz we własnej ciężarówce?
I quit concerning myself with that a long time ago. Besides, I don't drive the lorry for the cargo, if you know what I mean.
She says that as if something narcotic is the real reason.
Czekaj, no dzięki jeżdżeniu ciężarówką jesteś na haju?
Oh, it's so much more than a high where I go, Harife. It's low. I go to the bottom.
Yeah, it's definitely some kick. Some terrible kick in the dark. A sleep kick. Perhaps you can find out later.
A jeśli ładunek jest kontrabandą?
Then it's contraband, Loman. What? Do you want to take an old woman in? Be my guest. Lock me away like Bad Hand Hermenegildo.
Wciąż nie do końca rozumiem całego tego tematu bojaderów.
Of course not. To truly understand the Boyadero, you need to listen to On the Western Plain.
Dobrze, a co to?
It's an old ballad about a young girl who falls in love with a daring Boyadero. He promises to marry her as soon as he returns from the Western Plain.
Zgaduję, że nic z tego.
Of course not. The Boyadero returns from the Western Plain a changed man. One night, as he and his beloved are out walking along the river Maigret, she pleads with him to give up his riding and settle down.
Chyba już wiem, do czego to zmierza.
So the Boyadero strangles his beloved and throws her body in the Magret. Then he rides off, because the Western Plain is calling to him.
Nie do końca tego się spodziewałem.
You have to understand. A true Boyadero needs a whole horizon to himself. He can't be tied down by man or woman. His beloved was selfish. She didn't know what it meant to love a Boyadero.
What if to truly love a boyadero is to float lifeless downstream?
Zanim się zjawiłem, wydawałaś się nieobecna.
She's just a distracted old woman. We should maybe let her get back to her things.
You hear that, Loman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Chwila, dlaczego poruczniku?
Nothing. I just don't think she's connected to anything.
He's worried, but not for her. For you. What is it about this woman? If she's not connected to anything?
Powinnaś w takim stanie jeździć ciężarówką?
Oh, don't worry about me. I'm one of the best communers around. I drive routes no one else will.
W jakich trasach?
Lomonosov's Land, Udajnaya Zemlya, the Western Plain.
A terrible cold comes over her, rattling her teeth as she stares inward.
The Transcatalia Magistral. You for 1A. Adestradas du Mirador. All the good ones. The deep trenches. Where the bluebirds fly.
Jestem w pewnym sensie ekspertem od tracenia przytomności. Powinnaś bardziej na siebie uważać.
You're right, Loman. I'm the one who should take my health more seriously. Thank you for looking out for me.
A correct appraisal. You're quite shabby.
Is that all you woke me up to say?
Wyglądasz mi na kobietę, która wie co nieco o narkotykach.
What do I need drugs for, Loman? What I see, what I feel. The great adversary. No drugs can compare.
Adwersarz?
Yes. There is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary. There's no coming back from that hole.
I don't like the sound of any of that. Sounds like a horrible drug. The worst one of them all.
Nie o to mi dokładnie chodziło.
Then what were you getting at?
This line of questioning is going nowhere. Try harder.
Co ty właściwie dokładnie przewozisz?
You're man, Loman. What of it?
Dobra, zapytam inaczej. Czy przemycasz narkotyki przez terminal B?
Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way.
Mówiłaś wcześniej, że nie wiesz jaki wozisz ładunek. Mogło to być narkotyki?
Just this month I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grad. On the U41A. What do you think they take from Saramiriza to Grad, Loman?
Narkotyki?
No, Loman. Diamonds.
Damn this. Make her answer.
Nie pytam cię o diamenty, nieprawdaż? Nie obchodzą mnie.
Diamonds are good for you, Loman. You should try them sometime. Make yourself pretty like Eva de Zoras.
Gdybyś miała zgadywać, to kto twoim zdaniem przemyca te narkotyki?
Easy. He's the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet. Also, he's the only one I can see from here.
Robisz sobie ze mnie żarty? Lepiej zacznij mnie słuchać.
I would never make fun of a real lawman, Sheriff.
Ma'am, you're not responsible for what the client puts in your lorry, as long as the seals are not opened. We officers know that.
Lay off her.
No dobra, skoro nie jesteś zamieszana w przemyt narkotyków, to czemu wciąż tu czekasz?
Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. I can listen to music, or the seagulls. Look at all the colors and the features of this world. It's a good palate cleanser, this jamboree. Or I can just relax and let my mind carry me back where it will, to the Great Plains.
I think we're done here, no?
Na razie dziękuję.
Yes, go. Enough jamboree. I need to get back to Meski.
Dziwna rozmowa. Dziwnie zachował się też Kim. Czy mamy coś tutaj, cokolwiek, buteleczki? Czyli podejrzany jest typ, który sprzedaje rzeczy. Ubrania i okulary. Czekaj, tam między tymi ciężarówkami to fajki, idź po nie. Mam papieroski. Znowu. To co? Pociągniemy?
There it is. A brave little army in your pocket. The
No dobra,
first smoked
wyciągnij
platoon.
jednego z paczki.
You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Oh yes, Bratan! Please light up! You need a trooper between your lips right now! Calm your shit down! Go to Pleasureland! Become a genius!
Odpalaj.
Get a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go.
Wsuń tego sukinsyna w płomień i weź głęboki oddech.
Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself. The man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills. Logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
Co jeszcze dawał mi konceptualizację? Koszula dawała mi konceptualizację. Dobra, przesłuchajmy też naszego podejrzanego. Jakie w ogóle mam jeszcze zadania? Muszę się też uchlać. Żałosny glina 9. Ojoj. Ojojoj. Jak tam stoi z expem? 15 expa do level upu. Chciałbym zinternalizować odrealnienie, jak to brzmi.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. When he realizes you're looking at him, his face breaks into a wide, welcoming grin. The name Sileng is embroidered over his breast pocket.
Happy shopping, officer! Everything's cool here.
Co jest takie fajne?
Everything's cool. The goods are cool, the customers are cool, the place is cool. And one more thing, officer.
From out on the bay, a cool wind gathers. It sweeps into the city, tugging at the textiles hanging around the stand. Some distance away, the sound of a tin can clattering across the street can be heard.
You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang!
Naprawdę myślisz, że jestem fajny?
Oh, yes! You got style. You got personal style. You know what you like. You like premium menswear. Look around and browse. Everything looks cool on a guy like you. Take your time.
Don't be distracted by the flattery and funny man act. Questions.
Skąd jesteś, Sileng?
Me? It's a boring story, officer. Who cares about the past? I'm all business now. All Revachol.
Ale nie jesteś miejscowy, prawda?
Very sharp, officer. I'm Serais, from the Sigai province of the Serais Empire. The apricot suzerainty, you know?
Skąd ta nazwa? Jest tam dużo morali?
The apricot suzerainty is what the Sigai archipelago is commonly known as in Revachol. It's a bit of a fraught term, I'm sure you understand.
No, know, apricots come from sea guy. My grandma used to grow them. But sea guy is a shithole. That's why I came to Revachol. Here's much better for an independent entrepreneur. Less laws.
Aha.
Speaking of, why not support an independent local entrepreneur? I send half my profits back to my grandma in Sigai.
Well, if it's for his grandma, you should buy a lot of things.
Powiedz, Sileng, co sądzisz o narkotykach?
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
Uwielbiam narkotyki.
That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale. Or at my home, or on my person.
Szukam kierowcy, który wywozi z portu narkotyki i wiem, że tkwi właśnie w tym korku.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
Ależ jesteś kierowcą ciężarówki. Inny kierowca wskazał i ciebie, i twój wóz.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
A więc zapomniałeś mi powiedzieć.
Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity.
Sileng, moje źródło informuje, że to ty przewozisz narkotyki dla związku.
No! That's insane! It's the fat hater. He's been eyeing me for a week and he sent you here. Maybe he's the one, huh? Have you thought about that?
Przestań się wić. Co wiesz o handlu narkotykami w porcie?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd, you know, the drug crowd.
He doesn't want to talk about them. He's afraid.
Kogo ty się boisz, Sileng?
Look, there's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please don't get me into this mess. I've spent 15 years working my way up.
Jesteśmy kumplami, Sileng. Pomóż nam. Nikt się nie dowie, że to ty.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Co to za inni kierowcy, którzy tak gadają?
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The racist or the other one with the tattoos?
All of them. Even the ones who've left. I don't hang out with them. I don't remember who has tattoos.
Czy ta kierowczyni to tamta starsza kobieta? Otumaniona? Dziwna?
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
It could be. She was strange.
Dobra, między nami już spoko.
All right. I scored. Let's cap this off with a purchase. You can walk away from here with funky sunglasses, detectives. Both of you. You deserve it.
To co? Przekonaj go, żeby dał ci trochę pieniędzy?
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Ty, chcę twoje pieniądze i ty już.
Oh, okay. But why, officer?
nie wiem, to było jedyne, co pojawiło mi się w głowie. Zapytać cię, skądś muszę wziąć pieniądze.
Ah, yes. Money is very important.
Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not doing a very good job.
Sorry, detective.
Rozejrzał się, dzięki. A, tak. Podleczmy się tak poza tym, po papierosku. Czyli to jednak starsza babka. Musimy znaleźć kierowczynię. Podejrzewam, że to ona. Była trochę sus. Ale też mam dziwne wrażenie, że to ona ma mój pistolet. Także trzeba delikatnie.
The woman is still hunched over the railing, her head swaying to the music, her eyes looking at nothing in particular.
Dobra, abstryknij palcami.
Huh? What is it? What do you want?
No dobra, jesteś tą kierowczynią, moje damo.
Did you just call me a lady, Harry Fair?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
Powiedziano mi o kierowczyni, jesteś tu jedyną kobietą.
I'm not that either, Harry Fair. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul.
Czyli to nie ty jesteś kierowczynią, której wszyscy się tak boją?
I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me.
Czemu wydajesz się taka straszna dla ludzi, którzy cię kiedyś znali?
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was.
To głębokie. Mówisz o długich trasach, to...
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there, it's all just... In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates and all you see is an aging woman.
Więc kto jest tą kierowczynią, o której mi mówiono?
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around when I have my movies to go to?
To wszystko, co chciałem wiedzieć. Dziękuję.
Oh, Sim.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown rest state. She twitches like a sleep kick.
Na razie dziękuję. Czyli jednak nie ona. Och nie. Trochę mi się ograniczyły opcje. Gdybym wbił level up i rozwinął ciało jako narzędzie. Mogę ewentualnie zagadać. Siema, nieziemski. Co tam, jak tam? Zagadać z tym typem. Brakuje mi chwilowo forsy, mógłbyś mi trochę dać?
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
Koordynacja oko ręka średni. Spróbuj ją złapać.
The coin lands into your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Twoje zdrowie, nieziemski. Jak tam? Jak tam dzień mija? Jak tam dylematy słuchawkowe? Czaisz, nieziemski? Stwierdziłem, że wolę, żeby moja głowa opierała się o plastik i poluzowałem na maksa opaskę, tak po prostu, żeby pomiędzy plastikiem a moją łysiną był materiał. I stwierdziłem, że jest to dużo wygodniejsze niż opaska z Arktisów, która ściągała mi te słuchawki na siłę. Wolę, żeby grawitacyjnie leżało to na mojej głowie. Dziękuję.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't do more. Things are meager at the moment due to...
Manifestantów.
You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing though.
Związek ma problem z funduszami?
Nothing to worry about really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get in or out. The rationing is a bit stricter is all. Supplies should last the strike, though.
Nie, nieziemskie. Myślę, że i tak będą lepsze od tych, które masz. Trzeba wydawać pieniądze, żeby je zarabiać.
Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry-ass scab.
Miło było porozmawiać, muszę lecieć. Zróbmy save'a. Czego ja potrzebuję? Jakiej statystyki? Bo nie pamiętam. Ciało jako narzędzie?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you.
Siła woli
You
mówi
have
jeszcze raz.
really let yourself go.
Dobra, jak coś, zrobię coś, czego nie powinienem i wczytam. Znokautuj go. Znowu wpierdol.
It has happened again. The Titan has your fist locked in his hand, and he's twisting it. Another fit of criminal rage. Who are you, in your own words?
Zdegenerowanym alkoholikiem.
Good. Now go before you enter cardiac arrest.
Czemu nie jesteś z chłopakami Hardiego?
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading.
No właśnie mówię, nieziemski, nawet jeżeli zepsujesz kabel, to można go naprawić. Zwłaszcza w takich słuchawkach. Także nie widzę w tym wielkiego problemu. Ale wszyscy należycie do związku.
The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Seminoles. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman.
Dobra,
Please, stop
odejdźmy.
doing this. You are making us look bad.
Kim? Co ty? To było ważne. To było bardzo ważne, żebym się przekonał. To znaczy, nie wiem, nieziemski. Szczerze, mam słuchawki Sennheisera, akurat są w domu rodziców. Wiele razy były widoczne w tle na streamie, jak wisiały sobie z tyłu, które nadal działają. 2 razy w nich kabel musiałem skracać, bo się przełamał. Ale one nadal działają, tylko po prostu one już mają 12 lat i rozsypują się. W sensie nauszniki już wymieniałem raz, znowu się rozsypują. Na opasce jak jest taki skajka taka na opasce, nie? Też już się sypie, ze starości cała zeszła. Także starość, nie? Ale jeżeli nawet te słuchawki ci wytrzymają 10 lat, to są warte ceny. Jeżeli będzie wszystko spoko działać. No i swoją drogą tamte Sennheisery były zajebiście niewygodne. Jak je ostatnio w domu założyłem, bo zapomniałem słuchawek, to zastanawiałem się, jakim cudem ja ich przez tyle lat używałem. Chyba trzeba pogadać z ludźmi w środku, z tymi oto tutaj, bo nie mam innego wyjścia. Siema.
Let me handle this. Detective disorientated. Are you
Ty-
still wondering where you are?
Czy to jest kierowczyni?
This is Martinez, in case you've forgotten. I advise you not to overstay your welcome.
Okłamałaś mnie. Nie jesteś ogrodniczką.
That's right. I am not a gardener. I'm a legal counselor for the Dock Workers Union. So let's get to it. You're looking for Titus Hardy? You think he has information that will help you? Maybe he does. That's Titus. Talk to him, but know this. I'll be keeping an eye on you. No strong arming, nothing official. The district of Martinez does not recognize your authority to make arrests.
It doesn't matter if you recognize our authority. We will make an arrest if we have to.
She says nothing. Her glare speaks for her. How is that sign cleanup going? Huh? Fuck the police and all that? She said she would clean it.
Więc jednak nie jesteś porządną obywatelką.
She shrugs, almost no reaction. It's in there. She's just stonewalling.
Ten obsceniczny napis, mówiłaś, że go zmyjesz.
This is about your alcoholism, isn't it? People talk. I have no patience for it, or pity.
A cheap deflection, but brutal. This did not have the effect you desired, but it did something.
Czy ja mam level up? Tak, mam level up i mogę wylevelować ciało jako narzędzie i tym razem skopać tego dziada na moście. Tak, tym razem się uda. Zróbmy to. A jak upełnisz w tym wszystkim rolę?
Like I already told you, I'm a legal counselor. Do you have hearing problems?
Szczerze nieziemski, to myślę, że... Powiem ci tak, mówiłem ci o tych superluksach, które chcę kupić, nie? Ja zdaję sobie sprawę, że to jest przetragiczny plastik, że to są słuchawki za 100 zł, 130, a i tak jestem pewny, że będą wytrzymalsze niż to gówno. Tak, tyle w temacie. Więc jeżeli chodzi o biodynamiki, to myślę, że te słuchawki przeżyją mnie nieziemskie. O ile w jakiś dziwny sposób, nie wiem, nie przejedziesz po nich samochodem albo fotelem chociaż. A ja chcę porozmawiać z tobą, a nie z Titusem.
What you want is of no significance, officer. Don't test your authority. In Martinez, you are no one.
I saw what you were thinking. You want to say, what are you going to do to me? Don't. Just because it's in your head doesn't mean you have to say it. You will not lose out on anything good by not saying it.
Czemu jesteś taka agresywna?
Aggressive? You make your living enforcing violence. These people are just dock workers.
Nie, no nieziemski tak, to raczej nie. Chociaż mówię, no te słuchawki, które mam na sobie, ta opaska dosłownie od nieużywania się rozciągnęła latem od ciepła. To, że kabel tutaj zaczyna przerywać, to jest wina po prostu konstrukcji, bo nie wiem, kto wymyślił, żeby gniazdo... Inaczej, gdyby ten kabel był kątowy i przy ruszaniu głową nie przechylało się, i tak kabel jack, który przy nich jest dużo bardziej miękki niż ten USB. Jak był kabel USB, to po prostu jak obracałem głowę i kabel opierał się na ramieniu, to przenosiło całe obciążenie na gniazdo słuchawek, przez co ono się wyrobiło samo z siebie. To jest tak tragiczna konstrukcja, że szkoda gadać.
So you were spying on us, and now you represent murder suspects. Just dock workers.
Listen, you moral intern lackeys. You're a mob, enforcing the unlawful privatization of Revachol. 20 fat men in the Occident are stealing it all, and you're their bodyguards.
Dobre okno musiałem chylić.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So ask what you came to ask, or get back to your commanders.
Prywatyzacja nie jest bezprawna, jest czadowa i zabawna. Jaki tekst. Nie wiem skąd ta informacja, ale jest błędna. Mora ma ścisłe zasady, jest silny, czyli odwrotnie niż wy, socjaliści.
Get sober. Do your job. Ask your questions and get the hell out of Martinez.
No to powinienem porozmawiać z Titusem.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota.
Że co? Chyba mi coś bulgocze w brzuchu.
Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow.
Śluby?
The vows are blood and flesh.
Co to moje jelito grube znów wygaduje?
Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
No dobra, ale co to są te mocne rzeczy?
Fascism, Brota.
Ale czym jest faszyzm?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revershaw's problems?
Dlaczego moja wytrzymałość sugeruje mi faszyzm? Myślałem, że logika. A nieziemski, przypominam ci, że moja myszka Logitecha, jak wyjechałem na 1,5 tygodnia latem, taki pseudo-urylop przy betoniarce, to od upałów po prostu się rozkleiłam. I w ogóle potem zaczęła się rozsypywać w rękach. Także jeżeli chodzi o jakość sprzętu komputerowego w tych czasach, to la Boga, pożal się Boże i różne takie. Myślałem, że jesteś moim układem okrążenia.
Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing.
Lewaccy akademicy?
Link. Yes, them. But also women.
Kobiety?
Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to
Dlaczego
be
jestem
scrubbed off this
seksistą?
world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place.
Czy ja mam jakiś atak boleści w brzuchu?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Czemu ja ci w ogóle słyszę?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Dlaczego próbujemy jakoś usprawiedliwić seksizm? Ale dobra, spróbujmy. Ale faszyzm brzmi bardzo źle. A gdybyśmy nazwali go jakoś inaczej? Na przykład tradycjonalizmem?
Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking.
Aha. Hello, God Gamer, but cooler. Dobrze, brzuchu, podjąłem decyzję co do faszyzmu.
You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota.
Mowy nie ma. Nie będzie mną tu rządził podrażniony brzuch. Nie wchódź w to.
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
Dlaczego moja wątroba jest seksistowska? Dlaczego? Rozejrzyjmy się. O, drobne. 50 groszy. Dobra, mogę pogadać tylko z Titusem. I...
This is where you say your bit.
Dobra, myślałem, że się zepsuło.
He's used to giving orders and having them obeyed immediately.
Tak, nieziemski, wiem, że zadam interesujące pytanie. Do tej pory w całej grze rozmawiałem z 3 kobietami. Fakt, panią na wózku potrąciłem, bo miałem krytyczny rzut. Ale to było niechcące. To naprawdę było niechcące. Nie chciałem. Nie udało mi się po prostu ucieczka. Fakt. Kobietę przy ciężarówce nazywam ćpunką. Fakt. Tej kazałem zmywać znaki z napisów, które tam powstały. Ale to jeszcze nie jest faszyzm, ani seksizm. I nie wiem, dlaczego akurat moja wątroba jest seksistowska.
Detective.
Precinct 57's finest scans the room, leaving the speaking to you. He trusts you. Maybe against his better judgment, but he does.
Nieziemski nie jestem. Nie jestem Krzysztofem. Musimy pogadać o tym człowieku, którego powieszono na tyłach.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that one.
Dlaczego wątroba jest niby seksistowska? Słucham. Debata. Co sprawia, że to akurat wątroba jest seksistowskim narządem?
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Boże, to jest kosior, przeczytam kwasior. Witajcie, kochani.
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for $1 million.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them. Questions? To hell with that. Get right up in the big dick's face. Physical confrontation.
Omyć pomieszczenie wzrokiem.
No, no, no. I's here. You got business with my boys. You got business with me.
The boys are too eager to please him to keep their mouths shut. You're gonna get a good head count here. Just wait.
Yeah! You fuck with the Hardy boys, you fuck with Titus Hardy!
Duży dymania.
Relax, Dennis. No one is fucking you yet.
Yeah, Dennis, calm down. No one's fucking you, you stupid fuck.
Let Dennis enjoy his fucking, man. We don't mind.
Bardzo duży dymania.
Yeah, you're not even being fucked, Dennis.
Easy, fellas. We got company. Let's see what brings the cop around.
7 napalonych narodowców, dobrze liczę? Tak, 7.
Too late. You already scanned the room. You got a pretty good picture.
Ale co?
Of the actors here, you could take another look at the tracks in the mud on the crime scene. Compare it to these guys.
Gdyby nie to, że mam beznadziejną percepcję. Ten wisielec na tyłach to wasza sprawka?
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about that pretty boy.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
Czy użyć opcji numer 2? Rozmawiam z wisielcem, kiedy doznałem dziwacznej, okultystycznej wizji. Czy lecimy logiką? Czemu na szyi wisielca jest zaciśnięty pas transportowy? Rozmawiałem z wisielcem, kiedy doznałem dziwacznej, okultystycznej wizji.
That is fucking bizarre. A magic man. A goddamn magician.
The lieutenant waits for your reply, patiently. His foot taps only a little.
Sorry. Powiedział, że to miłość go tak urządziła.
Well, well, fortune teller. You might be onto something. They don't just end up in trees for nothing.
There was a speck of truth in there for him. You accidentally touched something.
We had something else, beside the occult vision.
We had to have something. His foot tapping has become less patient now.
Czemu na szyi wisielca jest zaciśnięty pas transportowy?
Container belt, like we use in the harbor?
Tak, czemu?
Because we took it from the harbor where we work. Then we went out back and used it to hang him.
As he speaks, his fists contract, going through the pulling motion again, savoring it.
We did this together, all of us, until he was dead. That's why there's a container belt around his neck.
Czyli po prostu przyznajesz się do morderstwa.
Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
They're playing to their considerable strength in numbers. Don't talk about arresting them. You'll only bring attention to your inability to do so.
O, tak go zamordowaliście? Bez żadnych skrupułów?
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
Szczerze mówiąc, to pił tak dużo, że nie pamiętam nikogo z tych, których posłałem za kratki.
Doesn't remember them. He just forgets. Are you hearing this, Titus?
Ain't no use keeping a stiff catalog in your head. That's for sure.
Kto był tej nocy prowodyrem?
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
Titus, keep addressing him. He wants everyone to know he's in charge.
Ale tak poważnie, kto tutaj wydaje rozkazy?
Who do you fucking think does?
Może by go wkurzyć. Myślałem, że ona.
It wasn't a question, dickwad. How fucking stupid are you?
This asshole is worse than... Titus runs the Hardy Boys, genius. That's why we're called the Hardy Boys. Ain't that right, fellas?
I think you got your answer, Mr. Law.
Yes, there are some administrative differences. But on that night, they all acted as one man.
Hardy Boys. Good one. Kiedy miał miejsce ten incydent z wieszaniem?
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
Od jak dawna znaliście ofiarę?
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier? The representative for White Pines? The same company you're striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what? Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Dlaczego go zabiliście?
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town.
A więc był najemnikiem i tyle?
And he stepped out of line.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
Chwila, skąd wiecie, że w ogóle należał do sił specjalnych?
'Cause one night he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm Oranese goddamn special forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all.
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some Oranese paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did. Right there. Like some kind of animal.
No dobra, ale co tak konkretnie zrobił złego?
Wrong. He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
There's a slight unease in him, suddenly. He regrets mentioning the rape.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. And that was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
Czyżby Sylwii? I dlatego ona nie przychodzi do pracy? Nie przez nas?
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
To ta sama dziewczyna, która była molestowana, zgwałcona, jak mówiliście.
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
No dobra, ale kogo w takim razie zgwałcił? To bardzo poważne oskarżenie.
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
Despite the stonewalling, you can slip one more question in.
Spytam po raz ostatni, kogo zgwałcił zamordowany?
Titus, do not answer. You have been forthcoming enough.
Fuck off, Carl. She's gone through enough without you harassing her too. She doesn't need more embarrassment.
Ale niestety nieziemski statek odpłynął, promocja się skończyła. W sumie nawet dostawa w październiku dopiero.
What are you talking about? Embarrassment. If someone has been sexually assaulted, we need to...
What you need is to get the fuck out of my face. I've had enough of explaining myself to you fucks. He's dead. It's done.
As you can see, these men can only take so much baseless scrutiny. I'm doing my best to keep the situation civil, but...
It won't be for long, she means. It's true. She was the only thing holding him back.
Czy zapytać, jak go zabiliście?
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school and many more of active service. Certainly enough to not put up with this backsass. Deliver a knockdown observation.
Potrzebujemy czegoś więcej. Zakneblowaliście go? Nie mieliśmy żadnych zeznań wspominających krzyki.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Jaka jest szansa, że krytycznie to zjebie?
Actually, they're admirably, surprisingly composed. The entire room. Given how many questions you've lobbed their way.
Wszyscy? Może choć jeden z nich się jakoś niespokojnie wierci i pęka pod tym naciskiem.
Well, this one. But he's always fidgeting, so don't get your hopes up.
A to nie byłaby wyszkolony zabójca z oranieskich sił specjalnych? Jeśli tak, to jak zdołaliście go obezwładnić?
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie.
Oni kłamią.
I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
Gdzie doszło do tego bezwładnienia?
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
Titus lets the others clear out the details, so he doesn't get his hands muddy with explaining too much.
Mam jeszcze inne pytanie co do tego linczu.
Like what, Copper?
Nie będę go straszył aresztowaniem, bo dostanę w pierdol i tyle. To co teraz zrobimy?
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus. I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder, even if it is a group responsibility. We're going to look into this.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
Szczerze jest bardzo mało gier policyjnych albo detektywistycznych, takich stricte, nie wiem, może L.A. Noir? Bo tak ogólnie to jakoś nikt nie chce grać policjantem.
Rent-a-cop. So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals. Forget about their games. You've mapped out the characters. Reading the footprints in the yard should be easier now.
Kurwa. 3%. 3%. Jaka jest szansa? Musiałbym mieć boski rzut. 12. Naturalną 12. Heavy Rain nie do końca był grą detektywistyczną. Heavy Rain bardzo szybko zmieniło się w takie chuj wie co Davida Cage'a. Dobra, próbujemy rzutu za 3%.
As you look
O
around,
kurwa,
this
wyszło.
room full of sweaty men, swearing, drinking, spitting out tobacco. Does this look familiar?
Jak to się kurwa stało? O! Gdzie coś takiego wcześniej widziałem?
You believe the place was called Precinct 41. It was also filled with, almost exclusively, men. Sitting on desks, talking shit and wasting time.
Czyli 3 razy pod rząd nie udał mi się rzut, który miał powyżej 50%. 3 razy pod rząd. I rzuciłem legendarny, niemożliwy rzut. Jak to było? Jaki ten był poziom? Nie ma teraz ten. Boski rzut, którego nie miałem szans rzucić jeszcze z ujemnym modyfikatorem. 3%, naturalna 12. Dziękuję.
You seen Apricot, old Purdue's daughter? Asks Lieutenant McCoy. Replies Torson. The ass on that one. McCoy shakes his head in appreciation. A bit strange the old man named her Apricot, but, I mean, who am I to judge? Wanna hit the kebab joint?
Kurde, zjadłbym kepsa. Zjadłbym kepsika. Dlaczego gra mi to robi? Ja rozumiem, Titus. Wy naprawdę jesteście tutaj władzą. Musicie nią być, bo jesteście jak prawdziwe gliny. Żłopiecie piwsko, siedzicie i chuja robicie.
You got a problem with beer now?
Not quite there yet. Push on.
Mam problem piwny, ale nie z piwem. Nie mam też żadnego pojęcia, jak wykonywać swoją pracę, tak jak ty.
Speak for yourself, buddy. I've been running this outfit for 10 years now. You should have seen Martinez before it started. It was like jam rock now.
They didn't see shit, man. Kids getting shot. We had 3 shootings a week. Fucking graffito everywhere. You cops haven't shown up since the 30s.
Congratulations on the graffiti removal. All I see is you sitting around talking about Monica's titties while there's a rape victim.
So what? What do you want from me? We took care of that fuck.
Don't let him drink that. One more push. Quick. Just don't antagonize him. You have this already.
Nie chodzi o to, kto to zrobił, tylko o ofiarę. Potrzebuję pomocy.
Titus?
She stops mid-sentence. That's it. You got him. He's going to give it up, but on his terms.
You wanna help her, cop? Fine. I'm gonna let you help her, but you treat her with respect. If you don't, if you question her, harass her, a freight train of pain, buddy.
What is her name?
Glacia, I'm on due. She's staying here at the Whirling in Rags, a real pretty one. Silvery jumpsuit, blonde. That's I'm on due with an O-U.
Czy to jest kobieta, która paliła papierosa na tarasie na samym początku gry, do której powiedzieliśmy, jak to szło? Chcę z tobą robić jebanie? Mam dziwne wrażenie, że nie będzie chciała z nami rozmawiać.
Shit. The girl. The girl upstairs? That can't be her.
Dokładnie
Remember
tak.
what you said to her? You told her you wanna have...
Oh, it's her! It's definitely her! It's Miss Oranje, disco dancer!
Tak. Chyba wybrałem wszystkie złe opcje dialogowe na początku. Zwłaszcza ta z chcę robić z tobą jebanie. Myślę, że może utrudnić dalszy kontakt. Klasję. Popraw krawat, nie no. Tancerka disco i misoranie. Czy spróbujemy rzucić na opanowanie? Spróbujmy. 3%. Drugi raz się nie uda.
You inexplicably add cool after the victim's name, with your eyes bulging like some wild beast. Your fingers are fidgeting and sweat starts forming on your brow as Titus looks at you oddly.
I don't understand what's so cool here.
Nothing. We just have a few more questions. Then we'll be on our way.
Whatever you do not tell him you know her. That would sound off.
Dobrze, a ciebie co z nią łączyło?
I know her.
How well do you know her?
Well enough, Copper. We party. She's been here for a few months.
A więc nie jest stąd.
You mean Revachol? Nah, she's an immigrant. Or a drifter of some sort. Been staying here over the winter.
Don't you give her any more trouble. She's just Had some bad luck, that's all.
Shut up, Angie. She doesn't need your help.
Titus gives them both a look. They fall silent. What's with all the silences? It's like these guys don't know how to feel about this. You should keep picking at it. And what was up with the partying she and Titus did? It sounded fun.
Mówiłeś, że Nie, najpierw co ją łączyło z tym najemnikiem?
Relationship? There was no fucking relationship. He raped her. That's their relationship.
Dobra, predykcja. Klasję i najemnik trochę ze sobą kręcili. Titus był zazdrosny. I dlatego najemnikowi się oberwało.
Something is off here. His anger is possessive.
Was like that karaoke incident all over again. Or like some of the other girls he was harassing.
Okay, enough. All of this is irrelevant to your stated investigation.
Dobrze, to ten gwałt, kiedy do niego doszło?
He did it before we killed him. He's not gonna do it again. So what does it matter?
It would help if we establish a timeline.
All right. 2 weeks, maybe? I don't know. I need another beer.
Here you go, boss.
Mówiłeś, że imprezowaliście fajnie, bardzo fajnie, ale co miałeś na myśli?
What do you think I meant?
Zaśmiej się nerwowo. Seks, narkotyki i karaoke, co?
Yes, yes, and no. Got something to say about it?
Czyli mówisz, że byliście sobie bliscy?
No, we just fucked. That's all. I'm not gonna give you any details if that's what you're after. So put your dick away.
He really went out of his way to seem comfortable with this topic. That's all you're gonna get for now.
Chyba ją znam.
You don't know her.
Nic nie mów.
Good boy.
Okay, this turned out better than expected.
Tak, lepiej nie mówić, że powiedzieliśmy do niej, że chcemy robić z nią jebanie. Dziękuję, porozmawiam z nią.
Remember what I said. Freight train of pain.
Pójdę stąd już. Porozmawiajmy z Kimem. No cóż, kto by się spodziewał? Chyba każdy.
Officer, what was that?
Masz na myśli pocenie się i nerwowość, kiedy wspomniał jej imię?
Yes.
I te takie dziwne tiki jednego oka?
Yes.
Chyba znam tę kobietę.
The victim? Is there something I should know before we talk to her?
Wiesz, że nie pamiętałem o byciu policjantem.
Okay, that's manageable.
Próbowałem ją poderwać.
Understood.
Powiedziała, że będę ją musiał później przesłuchać i że będzie to dla mnie przypałowe.
It is. This would have been good to know before.
Nie wyszło w rozmowie.
It should have. Anything else?
Nie zgwałciłem jej.
What you're saying is, you raped her?
Ice is forming on the inside of your chest cavity. Cold sweat trickles down your neck.
Then, don't ever say that again. What else?
Spotkałem ją już w korytarzu po tym, jak się obudziłem.
Understood. You were not in good shape on Monday.
Nic takiego, przejdźmy dalej.
We'll be alright, officer. This is nothing.
You feel fortified by his assurance. It's going to be alright.
Ja, +1 do morale. No cóż, niezręcznie to wyszło. I za cholerę nie jestem bliżej rozwiązania zagadki. To był ten pokój.
The door is closed. There's still a dent in the vinyl where you punched it before.
Przecież ja jeszcze prawie jej drzwi rozjebałem. Przejedź palcem po uszkodzeniu.
This little depression is all you could inflict on the door. Beauty has abandoned you in this ugliness, Honcho, and then some. You cannot even remember the name of beauty. What beauty was.
Zapukaj.
Who is it?
This is the police. Can we come in?
Come on up. The door is open. I'm drying my hair.
Pokój przesycony jest ogromnym smutkiem. Przypominaj ci twój własny. Jest na dole, czy...
This medicine cabinet is full of wares. Sheets of pills, haphazardly stacked, one on top of the other. There's also a toothbrush somewhere in there.
Spójrz na szczoteczkę do zębów.
It's been used quite a lot.
Spójrz na leki.
Pharmaceuticals line the shelves. Sheet upon sheet of pill bottle next to pill bottle. Acetylic acid, APAP, eye drops, blood thinners.
Widzę tu nie lada zbiorek.
Anything of note?
Szukaj buteleczki.
Pill bottles rattle like bones as you search the cabinet. Paracetamol, histoperidol, something in a foreign language you can't read. Behind them, an unusually shaped nasal spray. Its label reads Nacra.
Co to jest Nacra?
An opioid receptor antagonist. It's used for diamorphine overdoses.
Przeszukaj blistry.
Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Gotwaldian, marked red blister packs.
Siema
you
metal,
find.
siema siema.
What
Co tam, jak tam?
do you find? This is going to take a little
Jak tam po weekendzie?
know-how.
Dobra, 97%. Nie możemy tego sfailować, prawda?
A bright orange bottle with Preptide stamped on it. In sunny, happy letters. Jackpot, baby. That's the stuff you're looking for. Your palms begin to sweat just holding that little plastic container.
Co jest takiego ekscytującego w tej pomarańczowej buteleczce?
It's speed, man. Just what you were looking for. They call it dextroamphetamine and talk about psychological disorders. But what we're seeing here is some scientifically advanced trucker speed.
Za szybko zleciał. A, to prawda. Całkiem szybko. Ale już niedługo święta, więc kolejny weekend w sumie. Porucznik, widzę tu też markę Preptide.
Preptide, a euphemism for pharmaceutical amphetamine. Prescription speed.
The fuck are you waiting for? Let's get super fucking preppy.
Zamknij szafkę. Nie będziemy brać speedu. Czujesz, że ktoś obserwuje u ciebie z zaszklonych drzwi, jakaś kobieta? No ciekawe kto. Właścicielka pewnie. Mentylowe papierosy. Popielniczka w kształcie jeża. How
Welcome
nice.
to the roof.
Below her silvery jumpsuit, an athletic young body, built long and lean.
Dobra, elektrochemia, zamknij się. Ten statek odpłynął.
Then toned over several years of self-defense training. You can sense it in the sharp pointing of her elbows.
A to ciekawe.
I'm sorry for the mess down there. The cleaning lady hasn't come by in days. I'm beginning to wonder if she ever will.
Ładny ma pani stąd widok.
Nice. I don't know about that, officer.
Where a ripe corpse still hangs from the tree, spotted with green and purple.
Aha.
The woman doesn't flinch, but there is something in her light brown eyes. A sadness.
Wspomniała pani o sprzątaczce, chyba jej potrzebuję.
Oh, yes. Legends of room number 1 have made their way around the building. They say a portal to hell has opened in there.
Disco Infernum.
They also say that's why the cleaning lady quit. Because of the infernum.
I'm Kim Kitsuragi. I'm a detective from Precinct 57. I believe you have already met my colleague from Precinct 41.
Have I ever? This is the fabled cop of the apocalypse.
Miał rację, że będzie niezręcznie.
What happened, man? The end was supposed to be mere seconds away. Why we're still here?
Jestem bardzo rozczarowany, że to się tak przeciąga, co za farsa.
I know. What now?
Miss, we are investigating the murder of the man who was hanged. The people responsible have asked us to talk to you.
Huh. I see.
Be careful. Ask something else first. When you go there, use words like, I hear you have been through something difficult. No need to dilly-dally. She's tough.
Dobra. Przejdę od razu do rzeczy, nie chcę brzmieć jak jakiś ciamajda.
Good on you, boy. She can take it.
Jak ma pani na imię, to do akt.
Clausier Amondu.
Skąd pani jest?
Vredefort. Republic of Oranie.
Czym się pani zajmuje? Jaka jest pani specjalizacja?
Something stupid.
Wanna hear what's stupid? Somewhere in a one-room apartment on Boogie Street, a young man shows patrol officer Tilbrook his genital warts, asking if they're cancer. His partner, Emil Mullins, can't be there. He's in another apartment with another man who's showing him a dead dog under the radiator. It's dead, Mullins says. No, the man replies. I touched him. He's warm. He's warm, Mullins replies, because he's under the radiator.
Jest pani policjantką?
No, no. More stupid. Oranese lit.
Litka oranieska?
Oranese literature. It's what I studied at the university.
O czym traktuje literatura oranieska?
Fear of failure, fear of death, how it sucks to be Oranese. All national literatures are... Only the name of the nation changes.
W sumie to prawda.
If that's true, then Revacholian lit would fit you like a glove.
Oranieska literatura, co pani z nią robi?
Nothing. I do nothing with it.
Czadowo.
It's not very cool, but what can you do?
Moglibyśmy zobaczyć pani paszport?
I'm afraid you can't, officer.
Why is that?
Because it's buried in a sealed plastic bag at an undisclosed location on the coast, along with cash and airline tickets.
Thank you for your candor. Why?
They say so in your tourist brochure. Keep travel documents away from your person when west of the river.
Skąd mam wiedzieć, że podała nam pani prawdziwe nazwisko?
If I were to lie to you, I would come up with a more mainstream name than Clausia Mondu. It's a weird name.
Ja rozumiem.
Okie dokie.
Ile ma pani lat?
I'm 28.
Co to jest oranie?
A bad memory, officer.
Przykre wspomnienie czego?
Of lilacs and lightning. Parks, glass. Duraluminium. Vredefort is a conference city. It's always autumn there. A night. At least it was for me.
What's so bad about that?
Nothing. If you're no longer there.
Dziękuję, to już wszystko do akt.
The record. So official.
Zauważyłem, że pani pokój jest blisko mojego. Mam osobiste pytanie.
Yes. You're just one room away. Very personal.
Była pani w pokoju w niedzielną noc. Muszę się dowiedzieć, co robiłem, zanim straciłem pamięć.
You do not need to know that.
What you need is to ask normal police questions, like...
Get a grip, he thinks. At least do your personal stuff when I'm not here.
Powiedziano nam, że została pani zgwałcona.
It's a bit early in the morning for rape, isn't it?
She sounds positively buoyant, vivacious, totally unbothered.
Nie jest aż tak wcześnie.
She looks around. The sun has risen over the sea. People are rushing to work below.
It is. It's murderously early. I'm amazed I'm awake. Why am I even awake?
A więc nie zostało pani?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with not raped. I don't want to say that shit about him.
By him, she must mean the victim.
Tell them it's not my style. They'll have to, you know, if they want to jazz up the charges, they'll have to get someone more, rapeable.
Are you saying that you were asked to tell us you were assaulted?
Not explicitly, but I understood what they meant. It wouldn't hurt to spice things up a bit. Some assault and battery. Sexual assault, maybe. It was clear the latter would be spicier.
A co zaszło między panią a ofiarą?
We partied.
Zaraz imprezowaliście? Gdzie ja to wcześniej słyszałem?
A lot of partying going on.
From Titus? About her and Titus's relationship. That's where you heard it.
Nie rozumiem, jak to imprezowaliście?
We drank, sir. A lot. For weeks, basically. We had that effect on each other. We made each other drink harder. That's why I liked him.
What else?
Stimulants. Speed also has that effect, making you drink harder. And then drinking harder makes you do more speed. It's quite the combination. We also had sex.
Whoa. After so much drinking and drugs, how did they manage it?
Zaraz po takim piciu i ćpaniu? Jak?
Untraditionally, officer.
She's cold and strange. I'm not picking anything up here. Your imagination starts whirring, whether you want it to or not.
Czy w grę wchodziły jakieś uczucia?
A little. The drugs were good enough, and we did enough of them.
How did you two meet?
Downstairs, at the bar. He was on some sort of assignment, a military man, as you probably know. Had a cool, scary scar.
She appears aloof, but that scar part, the scary, is stressed and drawn out. What's that about? Apprehension? With longing. She misses him.
When was this?
A month ago? Something like that.
Musi być dla pani trudno widzieć go tam przez cały czas.
Oh yes. I have multiple viewpoints. From the roof, out of the bathroom window, in my dreams.
A bitter cringe. It hurts. You look to the lieutenant.
You called us, the RCM.
Yes.
Telefon, zgłoszenie o powieszeniu. To była pani.
I made it. And I would appreciate it if you didn't tell everyone. In Martinez, they call it snitching.
Reporting crimes is confidential in Revachol, miss.
Zanim przejdziemy dalej, skoro to kablowanie, to czemu pani to zrobiła?
Because I couldn't handle it anymore. None of these people called. He just kept hanging there. Then they started stripping him.
Głos osoby dzwoniącej był zmodyfikowany.
I didn't exactly disguise it. I just muffled the mic and nicked the landline a little.
Ciechnęło pani? Jak?
With nail clippers. And I diverted some radio fuzz into the cold wire.
Which landline?
The one downstairs, officer. I used the whirling landline.
Po co robić sobie tyle kłopotu?
I don't know, sir. It was stupid. I was drunk, too. I was probably afraid the union was listening in. Locals say they have ears in the wires.
Thank you for making the call, miss. It was the right thing to do.
I didn't want to, sir. And he's still hanging there.
We will move the body to the morgue today, miss. Don't worry.
Jeszcze dzisiaj. Na pewno jeszcze dzisiaj. Dobra. Dosłownie pół minutki przerwy, skoczę tylko do toalety. Dobra, jestem. Czy ta historia progresuje od chaosu przez durnoty do ciężkich tematów? Mam wrażenie, że w moim wykonaniu to jest bardziej ciężki chaos z bardzo niewielką ilością durnoty. Szczerze mówiąc, cała durnota to póki co moje głupie decyzje w dialogach. No sorry, ale chcę robić jebanie, albo to jak wskoczyłem na staruszkę na wózku. To jest wszystko tylko i wyłącznie to, jak wybrałem dialogi i jakie miałem rzuty. Titus prosił, żeby dodała pani dla nas pikanterii sprawie.
Pretty much.
Warming them. She must be very cold and exhausted of this life.
Na pewno nie została pani zgwałcona.
I'm 89% sure.
Czy to znaczy, że jest pani na 11% niepewna?
You know how it is.
Do you?
Właściwie to nie wiem.
Maybe you don't. In conclusion, officer, I'm gonna go with a mild to medium not raped here.
Nikt nie zasługuje na gwałt.
I'm sure there is one person in the world who does. I mean, there are so many people. But let me make this clear. The man in that tree did not rape me.
Co może mi pani o nim powiedzieć? Imię, kolor oczu, wiek?
I'm sorry, I can't do it. Not right now. Later, maybe. I keep seeing
Dobra,
him,
czyli ona mi to
like he's
powie,
now. I can't talk about his
kiedy zdejmę go z
I don't
drzewa.
hair.
I know it's difficult, miss. We can return to it later.
She meant she sees him in her dreams.
Czy ja chcę to powiedzieć? Ja też go widziałem we śnie.
You have? Not like I do, I imagine.
She sees them in each other's arms.
Trzymacie się w objęciach.
Yes. And then he's dead. His mouth agape.
Widzę go jako siebie.
She dips the cigarette in the lighter's flame and inhales, then looks at you with her lungs full of smoke.
I can see the similarity, yes.
Funny.
Funny how?
Nothing. I also saw him.
We had a long inspection and that sort of thing sticks with you. Let's move on.
Za co go powiesili, skoro nie za gwałt?
He had something to do with the strike. One has been roiling since I got here. Rotten timing. But you probably know all about it.
And his role in this strike was what?
I think he was in a security detail. He was ex-military, worked for Wild Pines, and against the Union. We didn't discuss work much, if you know what I mean. But I understood it was dangerous.
And they lynched him for it?
She nods.
Skąd zna się pani z chłopakami Hardiego?
They're frequent guests. Downstairs, they have a booth for Union members. They're probably down there now.
A jak się poznaliście?
Over drinks. It's been a long, boring winter.
Imprezowaliście?
A little, yeah.
Like you partied with the deceased?
No, not as hard.
I'm sorry to have to ask this, but have you had a physical relationship with any of the Hardy Boys?
I have.
Z którym?
Which ones, sir? I don't remember precisely. Titus, obviously. But as I said, it's been a long winter.
Could that have been part of the reason they hanged him?
Czy to może być powód, dla którego go zlinczowali? Przez zazdrość?
I hope not. Actually, I know that's not the reason. I'm careful about that kind of thing. Not crossing the wires, you know? But that's probably where they got the rape idea.
Co chce pani przez to powiedzieć?
Men like that? I don't know. It's the way their imaginations work. I suspect it's what they'd like to do to me.
She changes balance from one foot to another, crossing her legs.
Dziękuję, że nam pani to wszystko powiedziała.
She breathes a silvery sigh of relief and weariness. The air on the roof feels humid.
Should we head by downstairs, officer? We may have things to discuss there.
As he says so, you feel the young woman looking at you and get a feeling you can't quite put your finger on. A suspicion?
Mam jeszcze jedną sprawę, zanim pójdziemy. Drobiazg.
She nods. Silvery cigarette fumes disappear into her mouth.
Ładny ma pani ten pokój.
Yeah, it's pretty deluxe.
No one likes to talk about their dirty laundry and their empty bottles. Maybe if you phrase it emotionally.
Paskudnie mi to mówić, ale wszędzie panuje smutek.
Yeah, I've contaminated it pretty bad.
To dlatego siedzi pani tutaj?
The contamination spreads from room to room. First, I escaped upstairs. The sad got that too. Then I found the handle for the summer door.
Jak dokładnie jest natura tego skażenia?
For me, it's a mix of me with a lack of cleaning services. How about you? Talk around the establishment is, you have an industrial sad spill in there.
Dla mnie to alkoholizm, proszę pani.
Cool. I think I'm developing a pinch of that too.
Co
It
pani robi
hasn't
tu?
done wonders to my taste in interior decoration.
Aha. A co pani robi tutaj w Whirling in Rags?
I'm wintering.
How long have you been staying here?
About 4 months. I came in November.
Dlaczego tutaj?
Here in the Whirling, here in Martinez, or here in Revachol.
Tutaj w Martinez.
I heard this is where the washed up disco has-beens go.
Jest pani za młoda, żeby nazywać się udawnym diskowcem.
I'm really not.
Ma pani na dole nie lada zbiorek leków na receptę.
Thank you. I've put a lot of time and effort into it.
Technically, possession of narcotics is legal in Revachol, but you should still reprimand her. No, don't listen to the stiff. Be cool.
Całkiem imponujący. Jak udało się pani tyle tego zgromadzić?
With money, sir. It's not exactly the NT-star size caboodle I intend for it to be one day, but it's getting there.
W kolejce tej znalazł się nakra, antagonista opioidowy.
Comes in handy when you've done too many opioids.
Is that something that happens to you often, miss?
Better safe than sorry.
Ma pani tam oprócz innych środków również Preptide.
Oh, yes. One of my favorites. It cures many ailments,
Na przykład?
like not being able to stay up for 36 hours, not being happy. It cures those ailments. It's just a mirrored speed molecule, basically.
Dobra, na tym się zatrzymajmy.
Very funky.
Mam dla pani inne pytania.
Okay.
O kurwa. %. Spójrzmy jej prosto w oczy.
She looks back. Time moves slowly.
Nigdy się nie udaje.
The triangles of her face rearranging into a weary smile. Don't worry. We will protect you from her beauty. We will consult you through the reefs and sounds of her persona. You are advised. There are muscles on long white bones that line her limbs, just below the silver jumpsuit.
Jakoś nie chcę, żeby elektrochemia mi doradzała, co się dzieje.
Nothing. Just time passing. Don't worry. You are not a fool. Anything out of the ordinary and you would be notified. Air moves in your windpipe. Your heart beats. You're a detective. Get back to detecting.
Czy ja padam ofiarą uroku?
She presses her elbows against her waist and slowly turns her head.
Odwróć wzrok.
The strange moment ends. It was brief, no longer than 2.2 seconds.
Wróćmy do tego później, proszę pani.
Why not? I'll be here until 11 p.m., drinking coffee, most likely.
Dobra, porozmawiam z Kimem, ale wyjdę stąd najpierw.
Looks like we have more to discuss with those so-called Hardy Boys. Half their reasoning just went out the window.
Myślisz, że to ich przekona do współpracy?
Nothing will make them respect the RCM, but it will disrupt the game they prepared for us. We just stripped off one layer of whatever it is. Her decision to not corroborate their story was definitely not part of the plan.
Ale czemu właściwie ona nam to wszystko powiedziała?
What else could she have done? Lie? She saw there was no way to lie and get away with it.
Nie jestem pewien, czy musiała kłamać. Ja bym siły nie połapał.
If not you, then me. It was a smart move from her.
Wydaje się szczera.
You think so? Being candid is the best way to lie. The appearance of candor with some facts thrown in draws attention away from whatever one chooses to omit. She may be trying to control the pace of the investigation. Anyway, we should move. I suspect our inquiries will bring us back here soon enough.
Albo tak naprawdę to ono wszystkim kieruje, handlem narkotykami. Zbliżyła się do tego chłopa tylko po to, żeby mieć go na oku. On dowiedział się za dużo. Swoją drogą, czy mogę zinternalizować cokolwiek? Nie. Brakuje mi slotów. Nie chcę rezygnować z żulicjanta. Co tam, Titus?
The clowns are still hanging around. What is it now?
Klas jest twierdzi, że nie została zgwałcona.
Fuck! I knew that fucking whore couldn't be trusted.
You've hit a nerve. Titus is furious. No, more than that. The loyal Titus feels betrayed.
For the record, Titus Hardy did not explicitly specify the victim as a whore, nor did he say anything about trusting her.
Oh, shut up and stay out of this, Liz. He raped her. He was out of his fucking mind. You have no idea.
She's just in denial, asshole. You don't understand the traumatic experience. She's shutting down, and she doesn't fucking trust you.
Yeah, she's crazy, you know. A crazy bitch.
You know the type. She's fucked up.
Dość tego pieprzenia, powiedział mi prawdę.
Lawman, I'm at the end of my goddamn rope with you. I fucking told you not to push her.
His hands become fists.
And you went and pushed her. I am gonna fucking...
Titus Hardy.
Success. Titus backs off. Fists down, everybody. Goddamn, no one tells you to put your fists down.
Everett personally sent me to take care of this. If this goes south, we'll all be in the shit. But you, Titus Hardy, are going to be buried. Am I understood?
Someone has to rush in to break the tension. The second in command.
Look, Copper. We know that that fuck was a rapist and a killer. We got him confessing to it on tape. Show it to him, T. What's the harm, right?
Here, jerkwad, listen to this shit. And then come back and tell me the soldier of the apocalypse was an innocent man.
Another apocalyptic actor in town?
Skąd masz tu taśmę?
You think we go into this shit deaf and dumb? You RCM aren't the only ones who know how to bug people. There's no university degree for that.
A więc założyliście im podsłuch, jak?
We have machines. We're in logistics. How do you think a harbor works? It's advanced stuff.
Understood? You've listened in on their communications. How long?
Since way before their chief started taking swing lessons.
Things got nice and quiet after that.
W takim razie, który z was zajął się tą skomplikowaną radiową robotą?
It's not advanced. You just hold up in a coop all day, writing down what they say. It gets hot as hell in there.
Don't put yourself down, Angus. It's important work.
Yeah, man. You're like a radio genius or something. Those notes are some in-depth stuff. Indexes and shit.
Co jest na tej taśmie?
What's on it? We call it the Dorgun a Mega Mix. You'll know why. Won't you listen to it?
Co ma mnie obchodzić? Jakaś taśma? Okłamaliście mnie.
You don't care about evidence. The fuck are you a cop for, then?
Trochę chujowy, prawda?
Pigs, T. They don't care about getting the truth. They care about getting convictions. They are fucking keeping a score on their bulletin boards.
I won't be on your bulletin board. If you don't listen to the tape, we got nothing to talk about.
Gdzie mogło tego posłuchać?
I'm sure we can find a tape player.
W Lombardzie.
Where can I listen to this? Why don't you try shoving it up your ass, genius?
Yeah, play it with your ass, cocksucker.
I'm sure we can find a tape player. It's not a problem.
Na razie wystarczy. Wrócę lepiej do śledztwa.
Don't forget your tape, lawman. Compliments of Titus Hardy.
Dobra, posłucham jej.
You do that. Oh, and keep it. Maybe you'll need a reminder of human ugliness someday.
Pójdę stąd już. Tak. Cały czas na drzewie wisi trup. Cały czas brakuje mi hajsu na hotel i na rzeczy do kupienia.
You would be able to play Titus's tape. The tape feels ominous. Upon it, the dead speak. Respect the tape.
Szanuj taśmę.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right.
Co znaczy ten tatuaż?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone closer to the victim might know.
Czyli pewnie klasję. Schowaj zdjęcie. Trochę tego mamy. Dobra. Rozumiem, że Klasje nie będzie z nami rozmawiać, dopóki nie ściągniemy go z drzewa. Trochę zrozumiałe. Spytaj Klasję o niedzielną noc. To też dopiero bez kima, czyli wieczorem po 22. Żeby przesłuchać taśmę, potrzebuję boomboxa, który jest w Lombardzie, ale mnie nie stać. Jedyne co to mogą się nawalić. Ale na razie nie. Tym, co spróbuję zrobić po raz kolejny, jest pobicie rasisty. Ponieważ podbiłem sobie punkcik w ciało jako narzędzie. Zaraz jeszcze założył żonobijkę, która mi daje boosta do ciała jako narzędzie. I to się nie może nie udać. Jestem potężny. Jestem wspaniały. I dostanę w pierdol. One more time. 83%.
Since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Dajemy mu w ryj. Tak jest. Tak jest,
Just
kurwa.
like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat, into the cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break. The man is reeling, gasping for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. He's open. Rip into him. Right hook. Escalated. Get intimate with him. Bring the hurt closer.
Przeładuj mu prawym sierpowym. Czy cofnij się i wykonuje krężne kopnięcie z wyskoku? Robimy to stylowo? Czy się przewrócimy? Roundhouse.
The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button.
To co apokaliptycznie? Od początek końca prowadzą kawalerię o lwich łbach. Czy disco demolka? Oba teksty spoko. Disco demolka.
As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
Her voice is surprisingly calm.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
Co my tu mamy? Plastikowe opakowanie i hajs. Czy mogę go przeszukać?
The man is still knocked out. He breathes slowly and steadily. It'll take a few moments for him to recover.
Dobra. Ruszyliśmy w końcu temat. Możemy wejść do środka. Ach, tak. Damn, całkiem ładnie. Każdy pracownik, członek Rady Nadzorczej. Zmieniamy ubrań na koszulę. Chociaż stracę to przekonywanie bonus. Trochę mi to... Załóżmy płaszcz marynarski. Albo nie, niech zostanie disco marynarka. Nie kombinujmy za bardzo. Pocztówka. No. Magnes. Może być. Fajowe okulary biurowe. Plus 1 do matematyki wzrokowej. Załóżmy je. W sumie pasują do kapelusza. Pocztówkę mogą jedynie sprzedać. Pismo La Fume.
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
Czemu poroże?
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and at the same time above it. A shameful way to treat a former king, even one as underwhelming as Friesel.
Czemu Friesel?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see.
Przekartkuj czasopismo, zobacz, co przykuje twoją uwagę.
To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international developments, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns.
Zobaczmy,
Just
co,
inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
co uważają za sprawy lokalne.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt.
No, czerwone i
First we
biało.
take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Nie, bo niezależnie od opcji pewnie znowu stanę się komuchem. A czemu miałby mnie to obchodzić? Nie ma to nic wspólnego ze mną.
The eternal problem, according to G. Martin, is that under capitalism, the worker is rendered incapable of perceiving their own agency or lack thereof. Thus, they tend to experience their own oppression as though it were happening to somebody else. Is that true? Have you felt estranged from your own self recently?
Trochę.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Chcę uzupełnić wiedzę o wydarzeniach międzynarodowych.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Przeczytaj wstępniak.
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Szepnij. Kim? To chyba komunistyczne czasopismo.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Co to jest Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective.
Przeczytaj profil tej CS.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Chwileczkę, co to jest Tip Top Tournée?
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing. If you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
No dobra, zobaczmy, co ci komuniści mają do powiedzenia o Tip-Topie.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
Chwila, co jest nie tak z Tip-Topem?
Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
A co jest takiego złego w sponsoringu?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tournée becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter.
No dobra, ale potem widzisz, jak się rozbijają.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Nie, jestem właściwie pewien, że lubię patrzeć na sam wyścig.
Sure, you think that, but subconsciously, it's the visions of brand names being engulfed in flames that you crave. This flimsy magazine is right. Deep down, you know the only true stakes are life and glory, or death by fiery dismemberment.
Chyba nigdy się nad tym aż tak nie zastanawiałem.
That's because you haven't been reading critically. But don't worry. The whole point of these sorts of articles is to let someone else read critically for you.
Kim w tym artykule twierdził, że nikt tak naprawdę nie ogląda Tip-Top Tournée ze względu na sam wyścig.
Oh, come on. Can this article read your mind?
On sam zdaje się tak myśleć.
A certain kind of young man reads one or two books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Dobra, dłużmy czasopismo. Co my tu jeszcze mamy? Telefon.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change.
Czy ja mogę gdzieś zadzwonić?
The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Jaka jest szansa, że to się uda? Pozwól swojej pamięci mięśniowej wybrać losowy numer.
It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air.
Spodziewałem się tego. Przydatne?
Undoubtedly, no.
Może spróbuję jeszcze raz później.
Sure, why not? Muscle memory is a tricky thing. Nothing tricky about that. You just Do, fail, repeat, until it works. All it takes is motivation and practice.
Jeszcze tu jest szafeczka.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks.
Zobaczmy.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders.
Przejrzyj teczki.
Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Jest tu coś ciekawego?
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Zmuś się do dalszego przeglądania teczek.
Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer.
Spójrz na notatkę.
It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners.
Specjalny barszcz z Whirling.
All items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself is crumpled.
Spójrz, Kim, lista rzeczy do zrobienia dla Everarda.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Booze? Blood?
Spójrz jeszcze raz na notatkę.
Remember, Leo, all items on the list have been crossed out and the note itself
Dobra,
is crumpled.
zamknijmy szufladę.
The drawer slides shut smoothly.
Mamy level up, tak poza tym, ale nie wiem za bardzo jeszcze co dać punkty. Czy chcę być przekonujący? Czy chcę rozwijać swoje wewnętrzne imperium? To jest dobre pytanie. Może trochę empatię. Tak, dam w empatię tym razem. Ogólnie bardzo w psychę idziemy. Czyżby nowe wdzianko?
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. The white rectangle of the Revachol citizens'
Czyżby to
militia
nasz
is clearly
płaszcz?
visible on its back. This is your cloak. You can feel it.
Poruczniku, to chyba moje.
Yes, it does bear the RCM insignia. And we are the only detectives in Martinez.
Myślisz, że powinienem go zabrać?
The service cloak issued to you by your station? Yes, I do.
As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying.
To co, zakładamy płaszczyk? Plus 1 do dreszczy. Załóżmy do niego koszulę, niech to jakoś wygląda. Nadal jak Menel, ale to się chyba nie zmieni. Stąd przyszedłem, czy mogę wejść tutaj jakoś? Tędy bym musiał od dołu. Żeby wejść od dołu, musiałbym dostać się tu, gdzie nie mogłem wejść. Czyli to jest zupełnie inna droga. Czy będzie tutaj cokolwiek ciekawego? Ile tu w ogóle jest rzeczy, miejsc? Co to jest? Hajs, jak miło. Tam też jest hajs. W ogóle, czy ja powinienem tak sobie biegać bez celu tutaj, czy raczej iść do... tego Evrarta? Ale nie, no muszę trochę pobiegać. Czy mogę to otworzyć łomem? Tak. Rękawiczki z serii Faln Ultra. Boostujemy naszą półmroczność. Termos z kawą. No siema.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red.
To jest ten Leo od
Container,
notatki.
container, put the logos on.
The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisund on Muindi.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Evrard.
Cześć.
Evrard, 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 he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister?
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
Prawdę mówiąc to tak, powiedziałem to nawet manianie.
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
Jesteś Ubi, prawda?
Oh, yes. Born and raised in Arish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. Too old to lose my accent then. People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No, sir. Those are just nasty rumors.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
Co robisz z tymi kontenerami?
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Co się tutaj dzieje?
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers.
Przynajmniej
as you
morale
glance
odzyskałem.
around with similar childlike wonder.
O rany, czerwień jest o wiele ładniejsza niż ten nudziarski zielony.
Sure is, mister. Sure is. Really livens up the place. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I had to break this bonding moment, but the red containers mean they are replacing the company livery with the union livery, which means this strike isn't gonna stop anytime soon.
Gdzie się wszyscy podzieli? Port jest pusty.
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Evrard is in his office, where he always is, and Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Evrard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so.
Co przeskrobali Titus i jego kumple?
Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
Don't go all bad cop on this simple, friendly fellow.
Naprawdę? Zabili kogoś?
No, I don't think they killed anyone. Let's better talk about something else. Titus and his boys do good work. I don't want to get them in trouble over a little drinking.
Pracujesz tu?
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town, and Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes I am, yes I am.
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Czekaj, no kim jest ta pana Beaufort, o której wspomniałeś?
Oh, Lizzie. She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly. But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood, knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so, and she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years she has.
Myślę, że odwalasz tu kawał dobrej roboty, Leo.
Yes, this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
Well, thanks a lot. Coming from you, it means a lot, really. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you guys are all right.
The white rectangle on your clothes might not mean an awful lot in Martinez, but the recognition from an authority figure made Leo's day.
Ty jesteś Leo, który zapisał w notatce, żeby zrobić więcej transparentów.
Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht.
Wspomniałeś coś o barszczu?
Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Czy oni szprycują barszczykiem? Robionym na tyłach whirling in racks?
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
O co chodzi z tym noszeniem zupy ludziom? To w ramach strajku?
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags.
Czekaj, kto go przygotowuje w whirling?
Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad.
Zdaje się, że ten barszcz jest z prądem. Przyjrzał się temu.
Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
Co jest w tamtym kontenerze?
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Dobra, szukam przewodniczącego Związku Robotników Portowych.
Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinez what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys.
Patience. Deep down you have the mental power to keep listening. Not many would, but you do.
Nie przerywaj Leonardowi.
Had an arithmetics teacher, Miss Bellows. Her real name was Miss Bellams. She was a real pretty lady, but when she got mad, all the boys liked her, if you know what I mean, mister. We used to sneak in her yard in the dark and peek through the window. One time we saw Miss Bellows with a fellow. Yes, we did, mister.
Nic nie mów.
Them was naked too. That's all I got to say about that.
Bardzo ciekawe, bardzo dziękuję ci za tą powieść.
Thank you. Almost forgot. Mr. Everett is in that container over there. I got distracted telling the story, but he's in there.
Dobra, idę stąd.
Bye bye now.
Czyli tutaj. Dobra, dobrze wiedzieć, ale jeszcze poszukam dookoła, się rozejrzał. Cofnął się trochę, to są na przykład drobniaki. Pozbierajmy trochę drobnych. Czy tutaj coś jeszcze było? Oczywiście, że tak. Czy mogą coś
A
zepsuć?
rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marsh and Arret are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block. Marsh on. Arret off.
Marsz.
With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Ja sobie mostek robi z kontenera?
And, with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. This crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. To move this container.
Co jest w kontenerze?
Who can say? All you know is, it's special.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Zobaczmy to.
Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Poruczniku, ten kontener wydaje się być dziwnie wyjątkowy.
Is this like your thing with that wall again?
Może tak, nie wiem. Chyba powinniśmy to dokładniej sprawdzić.
You do? Because I don't.
Co? Czemu nie?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
Przyjrzyj się kontenerowi. Może w środku jest kontrabanda.
There may very well be, but we are not here to look for that. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to get the body down from the tree.
Zapukaj do drzwi.
No reply.
Otwórz drzwi.
You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
Naprawdę? Retoryka? Mogę przekonać drzwi, żeby się otworzyły? Się nie uda.
Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Bo użycie siły fizycznej nie było opcją.
Because what wasn't an option?
Użycie mojego ciała zamiast uroku.
Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
Dobra, na razie nic więcej tu nie ma. Pójdźmy jeszcze na dół. Tutaj że sporo rzeczy leży na dachu, ale się nie dostanę. Właśnie, jak tu się dostać? Stąd przyszedłem, ale... Żeby dostać się tu na dach, musiałbym się cofnąć? No właśnie nie. Kurde. Jak? Czy tędy? Aha, rozumiem, stąd. Dobra. Okej. Od drugiej strony jednak.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads René Arnaud.
No więc to tutaj pracuje René. Rozejrzył się.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
Weź zdjęcie.
It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man, René, is dressed in a Royal Carabinier uniform. The girl is young and very pretty. She is smiling playfully at the camera. René looks like he's about to smile. This photo must be tied to some good memories.
Why did you take that picture of René?
Spytam go o nie.
You're really interested in that old soldier. Not sure I understand your fascination, but sure. As long as it doesn't take up a whole lot of time.
Jeszcze buteleczki pozbieramy. Chłopco butelki zbiera zamiast sprawy rozwiązywać. Kim przeszkadzasz trochę? Spadaj stąd. Ja te butelki zbieram. Tutaj poważne pieniądze leżą. Wszystko? Chyba wszystko. Dobra. Tam na dół się nie dostanę stąd, nie? No nie.
This is the night.
Dobra, nie mam butelek, tak poza tym. 15 sztuk. Zawsze coś. Dobra, musimy biec do Everarta. Ale wydaje mi się, że stanął pod kontenerem i na dzisiaj na tym zatrzymamy się. Ale nie wiem, czy jest progres, czy go nie ma. Ciężko to ocenić. W każdym razie, moi drodzy, cokolwiek zrobiliśmy, udało nam się przejść przez most, udało nam się przesłuchać klasję, udało nam się nie umrzeć, więc uważam to za wielki sukces. Także na dzisiaj to tyle. Widzimy się jutro. Mam nadzieję, że przed świętami uda mi się chociaż trupa zdjąć z drzewa, ale niczego nie gwarantuję. A na dzisiaj trzymajcie się, uważajcie na siebie i do zobaczenia. Hej!